Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is part one of the high probability watch list. I usually break these things down into two parts. First part we go over the general markets, a little education, and then the second part we lay it on the line and give you the great setups for the next week. Now, always take a look at the S&P here. The S&P, the 500 index right now, again trading at closing at its highs on Friday. Trading at its highs. What did we close out on Friday? Let's make, yeah, you can see how we rallied up here. Very hard to stop this train moving. This trade is moving on up. When I was first looking at this pattern back down here, looking for a move to take out the recent highs, which would take out this level right here, and then start to maybe take a look at this rising wedge pattern. But you could see that we kind of broke through the rising wedge, started getting through that. We're right up 1760, and you're starting to know that this market here is in a in a very strong phase right now. It's going to be very hard. You start to see it embedded. It's going to be very hard to time where the shorts are going to come in. We have to take it day by day. Look for those reversal candles. Look for volume changes. Look for any news out there that could trigger a sell-off. But right now, it looks like this market has, one of those bulldozing effects I keep on talking about on the radio every day. It's just a bulldoze effect. Very hard to capture short in it. Not a bad idea to have a hedge, but, have a feeling that, even if we kind of analyze where do we want to usually watch for breakdowns and stuff, lots of times I look for a breakout and then a reversal and pull back under that initial breakout. And that would be around, we'll call it 1730. So, is there a decent pullback back down to 1730? If you think so, and that's going to come, then, it wouldn't be bad to take some kind of hedge short here and try to ride that around. But what's going to happen is, this market continues to grind up before, when all of a sudden this pullback doesn't seem like a viable pullback anymore. The pullbacks, ended up here, and this is really a break-even trade then for you. And that's how things are going right here. It's just kind of feed on itself, push a little bit higher, and until we see anything change in the market, that's it. Let's take a look at why. Let's take a look at why some of the setups have been so good. I want to go back over and actually talk about in a market, understanding the current trend of the market is so important, because then you can actually trade certain patterns over and over again. Uptrends and downtrends. The patterns work. You just have different entries and different exit levels. And you can see on a chart like this, when we have a larger uptrend and we like to buy those flag pullbacks, I like to buy the lower part of the flag. If we were actually in a downward trend and we were trading that upward move, which would represent that bear flag, then we want to try to capture those upper moves and short into those. Now the market here is on the upper part of a move, and if this is in a higher channel, you want to believe that this is a good opportunity for a little retracement. But this market, is on it's just on a tear right now, and we can easily see 1800 come up fast. So we take it day by day until that signal is really given, a clear signal. But you can see the patterns we're looking at. So now I was going over today. I'm building a educational section of a better educational section of Day Trading Radio, and I was outlining all the patterns I look for. And you might be familiar with these. If you're a day trading member, you definitely are familiar with this. But we'll look for channel stochastic bounces, coil stochastic channel breakouts, stochastic rotation, wedge patterns, channel stochastic divergences, 1, 2, 3 patterns, a trade I called X marks the spot, and different type of price divergences in channels and stuff like that. So we work with these constantly. I'm going to show you some of the scans I do to get these stocks. But basically, these stocks have been giving us great returns. It's a very low risk, high reward type of entry in a market that is very bullish. So we have to continue to look for these. Might think the market's a little extended here, but you know what? Then they're going to start saying that around 1820, and then they're going to say that 1740 looked like a bargain. So it's just that's how the market goes. So we're not going to talk about it. No one really knows how far we're going to go up to the point, because it just doesn't work that way. So we're going to concentrate on the setups. All right. All right, I want to go back and actually start off with this chart. This chart I recently made kind of describe what we talk about for trend lines and channels. I put this together. This is a trade Schlumberger. I think we we continue to follow these quality names, so it's great to be able to chart them out like this because it really recognizes all our entry levels. We can look back, we can look ahead, and see exactly what the characteristics of a chart are that we need to get into. And you'll notice that this formation, this upward channel with the little channels that form this, are great opportunities both on the medium term and on the longer term. So it's a really good candidate to trade, and I love trading these downward channels inside the upward channel. So you're going to see a lot of these on the watch list. But one thing is, you have to wait for these important levels to come into play. And you can see I kind of outline the important levels as blue little dots and stuff. It really represents you have to wait for the pattern to play out, and so you can start to recognize it. Usually it takes those 3 pivot areas where you can start trading the 4th, 5, and 6 area. But more important, putting in those channel lines, recognizing that channel, and then starting to trade off of that channel. And once you have that larger channel, the inner channels that happen become very powerful levels. And then I've recognized high probability setups based off price levels and how trends work. So whenever we do have a minor trend breakout, we watch for that stochastic rotation, and that means that trend's going to maintain its upward trend, but we're just going to give us a perfect entry down here because it's giving us a good signal on our stochastics that we should be looking to go long down here. The trend is probably going to continue because the previous trend was a higher low from that previous trend, and other than these smaller trends. But you can see the overall pattern. We start to build these higher lows. All right. So again, X marks the spot, 2 intersecting trend lines, a downward trend line, and upward trend line. I love these levels. They can happen usually at a couple different levels. Here's a lower one, but this really wouldn't be recognized. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, yeah, would be recognized down here. Parallel channel. Once this was developed, this was developed, this was developed. This would be a recognizable trading area because of this parallel was based off of this 3 pivot areas, and the stochastics. So a great example of what you want to look for in a chart and why the setups. A great example: channel stochastic bounce. That's a pullback to a 1, 2, 3 pattern, which represents the first trade out of a channel right here, and you see the stochastics. That represents a setup like that. So coil stochastic channel breakout. There wasn't a coil stochastic here, so that doesn't apply to this. That's a wholly great setup, but it's not on this chart. Channel breakout stochastic rotation. Whenever you have a downward channel or an upward channel and you break out of it, but you maintain the overall trend, you buy the first rotation back there. Again, that's a great one. A wedge pattern, no wedges here, but a wedge, again, that's another video altogether. Channel stochastic divergence. Yes, well, a lot of times you'll see a channel divergence is when you start to recognize that change of trend on the channel. There's nothing really here clear except, this pullback, the oversold, everything is actually working pretty good here. So there's no real big divergences. There probably would be over here as we start to do, I don't see what any kind of support line is back down here, but that's not really going to play into this chart. The 1, 2, 3 pattern plays in very well. X marks the spot in 2 positions. Really great, intersecting trend lines. Oh, great level, especially when they line up with the stochastics. Plus when they line up with the rotation play. So you have all these things playing out at these important levels. And going back to it, it's like some weeks you're not going to have, a setup like this. The stock might be here in free fall, and we have to be very careful. It's like, oh my God, this looks so good, it's selling off. But is it really one of these represents one of these blue areas? Does it really represent the best level you could be in? And that's, as a trader, we get by that because sometimes we take positions early. Sometimes we just don't pay attention to our own rules because it gets boring after a while. But something that we have to work on. Recognizable patterns and waiting for those patterns to play out. So that's a little overview of what you're going to see coming. Also want to start off with that watch list now. For that, we're going to take a look at October so far. We're coming up at close to Halloween. End of the month is coming up. You can see another great month here. And I just want to go back and just take a look at these names that I've been trading. Santa Fe, Tractor Supply Company, EMC, McDonald's, Eli Lilly. Each one of these symbols you probably know because they're good names here. And I remember, I get involved sometimes with earnings and stuff or get caught by mistake. But if you're not caught and you don't put yourself in that position, and yet you just want to make money, you want to do the best you can in the market, then you have to really, really like force yourself to have that discipline to keep that, keep that very good pedigree of stocks that you want to have that in your focus list. You want great stocks and be able to trade off of those because it makes your probabilities so much better than trading a stock under $10 or $5 because it gets manipulated faster and it doesn't act the same. So again, I'm just going to show you the Santa Fe. So I could look at each one of these trades, going all the way back here to Silica, Coca-Cola, RFMD, Kellogg, Hertz, CBS, Cliff Natural Resources, Visa, etc., IBM, all great names. So I'm just going to go over and take a look at some of those trades that we've taken and why did we take those. I think that's always great to look at. I'm going to just maybe some of them are not going to show up on the chart, but Santa Fe Aventus, you see me doing it every day on the radio. We're analyzing, we're saying, wow, look at the big divergence here. We got a little oversold level here. The price level is way off the recent lows. That's your divergence you want to find in a downward channel. You want to measure this out. Maybe not the best read here on the Stochastic. It's very sloppy. But even being sloppy here, getting real quickly moved down here and understanding the overall pattern, understanding how this pattern and this recognizable name, and it's trading right under the 200 period moving average or right around the 200. All right, so this was really a great breakout setup. All right, so it made a lot of sense to get in down here. Now what I want to do, and that's just not to say, I'm not going to come out here and just say this thing is going to continue to run. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But what I will tell you, if we get a rotation back down here, that'll be my stochastic channel breakout, stochastic rotation. So it's important for me to understand that and follow this for the next couple weeks. It's not a setup I want to take now, but I do want to take it maybe a week from now or whenever this rotates back down. I want to revisit it. I want to make sure our trend, we're probably going to be right on the trend line, and I want to be able to execute a trade there. But it's great because we're able to plan out our trades way before they happen. And again, I'm going to recognize this. I want to put it in the alerts. That way we don't miss it. I'll even put it as a trend line alert and come back to it when it's hidden. Tractor Supply Company, TSCO. Again, flag out of here, pop. Very, just a beautiful, beautiful trade. This is actually a gap down. I should even go back to the gap here. There it is. It's on a 60-minute chart. We're looking at this in a more tight range. It was really a breakout play, and there was this channel down here, and it was just a tight channel, so we got into it on the breakout. Very rare for me to take a breakout play, but this one I did do that on. EMC, we got out before earnings, and we did that. But you can see the 60-minute chart gave us great levels, and this is what happens. Look at where we are now. It actually got back into EMC. We got out before the earnings, and then it gapped down, and we ended up getting back in. So it's I'm in it now, and there's your daily. You can see the daily with the gap down. But how we've been tracking this one, and we're expecting this one just to rise back into the pattern. A little experience telling me that lots of times a quality name breaks out of a pretty decent pattern. It usually pulls itself back into the pattern and then starts trading. So I'm looking for a little further move up here on EMC. But again, you can see what I'm just trying to tell you is each one of these setups, I like them because of certain levels, and those levels worked out. Didn't matter what the markets were doing. The fact is that each one of these levels really worked out great. And Eli Lilly, look at this, oversold. Nice trend line down. Probably on the 60 was really key. Macy's, again, a lot of help from people in the chat room who really understand the system and methodology. They were able to really identify some really good trades. And even the Macy's here, beautiful wedge pattern. Recognize a coil in the wedge, very powerful for a break up. So you get in here. We got in here before the wedge breakout, and you got it. It's just simple as that. All right, phone's ringing. You know who's calling? It's a wake-up call, bud. Money don't sleep. All right, back here with you. And one last example. Even a stock like Cliff Natural Resources, very rarely, I don't like to trade these, but when it gave us such a great pattern, if we zoom out on this stock and see, you could really establish a downward channel. It's a large channel, but we started getting that divergence, holding off of recent lows. Stochastics rotated back down, so we had a good feeling that this was actually getting ready to break out. And we actually waited until it came back down. I forget how we got this. See, I think I put this trend line underneath here, and we got the initial bounce off of it. We're waiting for it to come back, and then it was off to the races. This was a really nice setup, and again, I couldn't tell you if it was going to go higher or anything, but I couldn't tell you where the good levels are to get in. And that's, again, want to just touch base on it one more time. Market very bullish. It's going to be hard to concentrate on some shorts, but we start to recognize some of those reversal candles. And don't forget, I did do a nice reversal candle post last week, so just kind of review some of those candles, and maybe we'll start to see some of them next week. All right, so at this point, I'm going to start the watch list, which is all the setups that are set up for this week off the high probability watch list, and that goes out to the members of Day Trading Radio. And hope to see you there trading on Monday. Take care.